Welcome to day 4 of the wool walk. It's going to be a little bit different today. So today is April 29th, 2023, and apparently it is local yarn store day, which means that local yarn stores are having all sorts of sales, and the store that I consider to be my local yarn store is having a sale, so I want to visit. My local yarn store is not considered part of the New Jersey wool walk because it's in Pennsylvania. But I've been working pretty hard the past couple days to try to go over my plan for days like this, where I want to go a little bit off the beaten track. So I've only got like 5 stores left on the wool walk, and then plus this store has 6. I could easily do that in a day, but I've got 2 days of the wool walk left. And what I've been doing is I've been hitting the nearest stores, and I've been going farther and farther away. So the chances that I may actually hit all 6 stores today are kind of slim. So I'm not necessarily going to force myself to hit all the stores today. I'm going to try to hit what I can and take it easy, enjoy the ride. But I'm going to start off by going to my local yarn shop. And then we're going to go back to our regularly scheduled wool walk after I visit the store. I just came out of Stitch Central, and it was the busiest I'd ever seen it. Usually when I'm there, it's like maybe 2 or 3 other people in the store, and there was about a dozen people in the store today. So it's good to see them have so much business. And I got some really good goodies from Stitch Central. So Stitch Central is a combination yarn and quilt store. But I only ever really go into the yarn part because I'm not the big quilter in my family. My mom is. So I saw something in there that I'd never seen before, and it's obviously just for today. They have mystery kits. So I got 2 different mystery kits, and it's nice. They told me the color of the yarns and the vibes and the weight of the yarn. So I got like 2 chunky weights, and I got like a cool color one, and I got like a pink and gray one. So it's gonna be interesting to see what those turn out to be. And then I got a couple other ones. So I've admired this one before, but I never picked it up, so I picked it up this time. It's just a nice colorway. It's, I want to say, yeah, it's a wool nylon mixture. I don't remember seeing this brand before. Betterbrook Farm. So I thought I'd give it a try. See if it's anywhere nearby. And then I just admired the colorway on this. It's a wool yarn. It's a sock yarn. The writing looks like it's in German. And then I often get this yarn from them, Remix. Remix is kind of like a, well, it's like a nylon cotton acrylic mix, but it's also like, what's it called? Recycled fibers. That's the word, recycled. It's a recycled yarn. I like this path that people are going towards recycled yarn, because we're not producing yarn that's like just going to hurt the earth in our crafting processes, which, especially since like fast fashion is a problem, like that could also, like, yarn is highly tied towards fashion that way. And then I have 2 more skeins. So I found this BioBound skein. I don't remember seeing this before. I want to look it up because I don't know what makes it BioBalance. But it's like a wool cotton mix. Create something like that. And then this was just a beautiful colorway. This is like a wool acrylic cotton, yeah, nylon mix. But it was just like, ooh. So yeah, that was a lot of yarn. And Danielle asked me when I was checking out if I was using any of it for clothes, and it's like, honestly, I don't know. But it was nice because she was trying to get me the discount off of the tax, which I appreciate. I'm very glad that I stopped by here, but now we're going to return back to our regular scheduled wool walk in New Jersey. I'm probably going to get some gas before I cross the border. And yeah, just settle in for a nice long ride. Well, after what was the longest drive yet for me to reach a store, I made it to Knit, Knot, and Natter, and what a delightful little store. I am very grateful they had a bathroom. Thank you very much for that. And it's the type of store where they have like little knickknacks all over the place, and it's like, I think they sell, it looks like they're selling a little bit more than yarn, but yarn is their main focus. And they had a yarn dyer there today. They had a particular yarn way just for the wool walk. So when I first arrived at Knit, Knot, Natter, Barb came up to me and like showed me all the different sales that were going on, explained what was going on, and she pointed out who the dyer was for the yarn, and this was the yarn that was dyed for the New Jersey wool walk. It's called Walk in the Park, and it's delightful. Oh my gosh. They had like some sales underneath. So like underneath the table where they got it. So that's where I got most of my yarn from. They had a whole thing like this. And it was a lot of yarn, but it was 40% off. So worth it. And then like Barb was also kind enough to show me the different patterns that are actually made with this yarn, which great customer service idea. I didn't end up going for any of the patterns, but it's like, hey, you like this yarn? Why don't you look at this pattern? And I also got these cotton yarns from underneath. So I got this one and this one as well. And then with this one, I just love the color, and then I felt the yarn and I love the texture. It's like a bamboo cotton acrylic mix. Don't know what I'm going to make with it yet, but it's going to be amazing, whatever it is. And then this one, I just like the color. It's a full-on acrylic yarn, I want to say. Oh, 100 anti-pilling acrylic. There we go. It's like such a lovely color. And then this one just caught my eye like 2 or 3 times every time I walked by. Like just the general collections, and it feels so soft too. This one is baby alpaca and fine merino wool and mulberry silk. So that was pretty nice. And then they had this like drunk yarn dyeing kit. So they gave you like yarn that you could attempt to dye yourself, and it's like, this box contains everything you need to dye your own beverage inspired yarn. Easy follow instructions and tutorials at drunkyarn.com. So it's this silk piece. Oh, I did not notice there were colors on the side before I bought it. So I wish I had recognized that, but hey, I can make coffee inspired yarn. They had this cute little kit where you buy yarn sight unseen. You know it's not the best yarn available, but it donates to a charity, which I'm willing to help out that way. So also, I kind of like mystery things. I'm a sucker for mystery things when it comes to yarn. So here we are. And then they had a whole bin full of books that were free, like books and magazines. So I got one magazine because it looks like it's got a stuffed animal, and also it looks like it's got another pattern for a project that I know I'm gonna have to do in the future with the plans that I have going on. So I already found the pattern for it. I don't have to go searching for it. Yay. And then they just threw this extra pattern in there. Well, like I got a free pattern when I was leaving the store, so yeah. What a delightful little store. Very happy that I came here. Since I was carrying so much stuff, like one of the customers actually like helped me hold my stuff. Thank you very much for that. If I were to do this again, if I was to do the wool walk again, it's like my mom mentioned it last night and some of the ladies here mentioned it today. For some of these like stores in northern Jersey, I may want to book a hotel and hit the stores that way instead of driving up and back every night. But I didn't plan that far in advance. So I'm gonna eat a little bit something now, and then I'm gonna make plans to go to the next store. I just had a rendezvous with Yarndezvous. And it's a very chill store. I mean, it's now a Saturday rainy afternoon, which is not really a time people want to be out and about. But it was a very small, well-kept store. They had like little sheep stuffed animals all over the place, which was nice. And I found some cool yarn here. So this like caught my eye right away. I'm gonna have to test this out. Apparently with this yarn, it changes color when exposed to the sun. So she had several different colors. So I just got purple to start out with, because I figured that would make a nice contrast against whatever this is. Unlike the ones that were saying they were yellow, I figured that would be a little bit harder to see. They had some hand-dyed yarn from different areas in India. So this is from Delhi, and it was an amazing color. And then I saw some solid colors of this yarn that I loved yesterday. I decided to get the solid colors today because I love the texture. They're probably going to become more frogs. And then turns out Rowan makes a yarn. It's recycled denim as well as cotton, and I've never seen this one before. Most of the stores I've been going into sell Rowan, but they are selling like felted tweed, like a wool cotton mix, or they're selling like super fine cotton, but they're not selling recycled denim. This is the first store that I've seen that's selling recycled denim, which is pretty cool. Had this yarn here, I just like the colorway. It's like a cotton recycled polyamide mix. Could make something cool with that. The texture feels pretty nice. And then the rest of the yarns, like the entire store had 20% off, except for one bookshelf, which was 30% off. And the rest of the yarns I have are from the 30% yarn bookshelf. So these are all linen. Are all different colors of linen, just 100% linen. This is the first time I've seen that on this walk. Pretty much every store that is selling linen is selling it mixed with something else. And I'm not sure if I've ever worked with linen just by itself. So this is an amazing opportunity to do that. These are the last two skeins. These are Tempo. And to be quite honest, this is one of the ugliest skeins I've ever seen. But the fact that it's ugly was what made me buy it. Because sometimes, like, you make all the pretty colors, and sometimes you just gotta make something that looks a little bit ugly, you know? And it's like a unusual texture, but it's not so far out there that I think I'm still able to make frogs with these. So I'm going to attempt to make a frog with both of these. And especially since I have other yarns here that I love, I don't mind having a skein that's like, ugh, you know? At this point, it's like around 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I've only got 3 stores left in the walk. There are 3 that are like right next to each other. At least that's what it looks like on the map. And I'm gonna see how far it takes to get to all of them from here before I decide which one to go to, because chances are I'm probably not gonna make all of them today. But just in case I do, it would be nice to start at the closest one first and then go a little bit farther out. But I have a feeling that if the travel time allows it, I probably have at least one more store in me. So we're going to find out now. I just came out of Biscotti Yarns, and the first plus was that parking was the simplest that it's been for a couple stores. They literally have a little parking lot out front, which is nice. I don't have to think. Upon going into Biscotti Yarns, it is the biggest store so far on the walk. It kind of feels somewhere between small store and corporate store. It is a very helpful store to go to, I feel, if you are a first-time knitter or crocheter going with yarns, because there's a huge selection, and then throughout the store there are like little information things about what does this type of yarn mean? What are the different needle sizes? And be very helpful, honestly. And they have a bunch of different things. So it turns out that Biscotti dyes their own yarns. I got some of the yarns. So this one right here, they had a sock sample next to it, and the sock sample led up to a straight up rainbow. It was like, sold. So I made sure I got some of that. And then this one right here is striping, but it's also got stellina in it, which is all the sparkly flecks that you see in the yarn right here. And like this just caught my eye. It's like, oh my gosh. And then this one, I got this brand to show my dad later on because the brand is Patrick Knits. My dad's name is Patrick. And like the color here is also pretty lovely too. I found they have this French yarn right here. So first it's like this cottony type of yarn. I think this is like straight up cotton. Yeah, acrylic and cotton mix. Feels pretty good. It's a nice color. And then this one just kept drawing my eye for whatever reason. There were other colors there, but this one's just like, Becky, pick me, pick me. So yeah, this has something about recycled yarn. Yes, recycled cotton, polyamide, acrylic, silk, and linen. So it's packing a lot into this little thing right here. This one right here, just like, most of these skeins I picked up at the store were just like, pick me, Becky, pick me. So it's like, you can kind of see there's a shiny stuff throughout it, and it's smooth, but it's like different textures throughout, and it was just intriguing. It just like really caught my eye. It's viscose and cotton. This one was just like, whew. It's like part of it's like the Louvre. I think the Louvre is the type of yarn that it is. It's like, yeah, this does feel very museum-like. What's this? It's viscose and polyester and polyamide. But it was like, ooh, this could make something a little bit stunning. And then this one right here, I mean, this is Malbrigo, which I have seen a lot of Malbrigo and a lot of the stores. It's like one of the 2 most popular brands I've seen in the stores, but this colorway seemed pretty nice. And I do know that they make up 2 nice frogs, although it turns out that Malbrigo is not returning Biscotti's calls. Please return Biscotti's calls. And then the last 2 skeins, I saw the skeins and I just fell in love. So this first skein that I saw was like, I looked at it and it's like, oh my gosh, if I saw my soul in a yarn, this was it. It feels smooth too. So it's a cotton, yeah, it's a cotton polyester mix. So it feels amazing, but look at the colors on this thing. Oh my gosh. And I was like, well, I have to get this obviously. And then I looked down and I saw another, and just as quickly I found another yarn that is me. So this is my color scheme. Pretty much this is my color scheme. So I got them both. I didn't want to have to choose. And then the last thing I got from the store is not yarn, but these are shoe soles. So they're leather shoe soles, and with the picture that I saw, you knit a shoe. Like you put a shoe, like you thread the yarn through the holes in here, and then you have the sole underneath and you knit on top of it. So I hope there's a pattern, but if not, I'll figure it out. And fortunately, the one that they had right on display happened to be my size, or what I hope is my size. It says it's a US size 10 to 11, and I typically wear size 10 shoes, so it should fit. So yeah, that's going to be the last store for today because the other 2 stores closed at 4. So I'm definitely not going to make them out on time, but that means I've got 2 stores left. And I've got a long trip ahead of me. I'm trying to decide if I should eat the snack that I got earlier, or if I should just pop by the bakery that the Biscotti shares and eat something from the bakery. Could be either one. Anyway, I'm gonna start the long ride home pretty soon. I'm home again. It's finally stopped raining. It's been raining for pretty much all the day, but at least it wasn't the type of rain where it's just like buckets and buckets and buckets. Like, it was relatively light, not the type that gets you drenched. I didn't have to fear for the merchandise. At the beginning of the day, Google Maps wanted to take me all over the back roads, so we went all over the back roads. What I like Google Maps have to say. I've been to a couple of rest stops. I mean, well, just one today. There were 2 rest stops yesterday. Both of them, Woodrow Wilson and Molly Pitcher, Like, there are frog trash cans where you kind of put the trash in the frog's mouth. It's pretty cute. Also, I wasn't expecting to end up in New York today, but I did. Because, as it turns out, Biscotti Yarns is really close to the New York border. And I kind of had to go across the New York border in order to hit the road that allowed me to go back in the other direction. The beginning part of the ride home was not so great because, I did stop by the bakery to eat something, and then I made a choice that ended up triggering my anxiety, and, well, I had an anxiety attack on the way home. I worked through it. I'm better now. I have to keep on reminding myself I've survived through 100% of the anxiety attacks I've ever had, despite the fact it doesn't feel that way when you're in one. But yeah, I did 4 stores today, and tomorrow's the last day of the wool walk, and I've got 2 stores left, which means, provided I don't oversleep and I leave at the proper time, I should make it. So yeah, I'm gonna go relax.